Well, hello again. It's Mrs. Coli. You are in for a real treat. Today, we're going to be playing the math game again. And this time, we're going to add on just a few more things to make that math game even that much better. The nice thing about the math game is it helps us to realize that numbers aren't just in a standard form, but there's so many things, there's so many models that make up each number. And when we can look at numbers in that way, it opens up a whole new world of math to us. And so I hope you enjoy playing this game as much as I do. So from our last game, you remember we talked about what is a composite number, and we found out it's any number that has multiple factors that equal a product, like the number 36. You can see there's a number of combinations that equal 36. If it only has just the number and the number 1, then we call it a prime number as a review. We also talked about how numbers are divisible by other numbers. We talked about Roman numerals, if it was even or odd. We could create fact families to represent the number, groups of the number, arrays, different terms like dozens or feet. We could use repeated addition or a comparison with a fraction, or talk about the number as a double or a half of a number. And those are all the fun ways that we talked about representing whatever number it is that we chose to do during our last game. So for today, we're actually going to use a rubric. We're going to use a self-assessment to determine how confident we are playing this game. And we always like to make progress. And so if you played the game before, you should have some data there in front of you, and you should be able to know how well you did the last game. So that's where we would stop, and that's where we would begin with this. Before we play the game, you would want to choose a new 2-digit number, and then you get to do this self-assessment on how many number models you can make. Now, if you played the game before, I suggest that you start with that. So if on the last game that you played, let's say you had 10 models, then you would circle a 2. And if you've never played this game before, you could think about how confident you are at representing numbers and choose between 0 and 4. And this tells you what the criteria would be, how many models would be represented, and you figure it out for yourself. What do you think you have the potential of doing in 10 minutes? Circle that number. And then what are we going to do next? Well, then I wanted to make you aware of some new things that we're going to add to our math game. We're going to write the number in its word form. We're going to write the number in expanded form. We're going to write the number in base 10 form. And then the whole math game begins as the number in standard form, so you don't need to worry about that. But today our math objective is, can you read this with me, please? I can write a number in different forms, including the word form, expanded form, base 10 form, and standard form. So what does that tell you? If that's our objective, what should be the first thing that you do when you start playing the math game? Did you say write down these different forms of the number? Yes, that's exactly what you would want to do. Nice job. Okay, so this is an example. If I chose the number 24, where I would begin when my buzzer started, and I had the 10-minute countdown, I would start by writing 24 in number form. I would write it in expanded form. Remember, expanded form has the plus sign with it. I would write it in base 10 blocks, or what I call sketching, where I represent these lines as the 10 stick, and these are my 1 unit cubes, or circles. And I know that 1 times 24 is 24, 2 times 12 is 24, 3 times 8 is 24, and 4 times 6 is 24. So it is most definitely a composite number. I would draw it as an array with my 3 groups of 8, and that's how I would model that in the array form. Also, you could do your addition and subtraction, fact, family, home, using the numbers. You put the big number on top. And then you can also do your comparison. And we learned last time that you take the number times by the fraction, the number on the bottom, and that tells you what its comparison is. So it'd be 24 is a fourth of 96. This is Roman numeral. And then, yes, 24 is even because 4 is in the ones place. And if you can't remember, you can count by 2, starting with 0, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You can go all the way up. And if that number is any of those numbers, you know it's even. Good. Ready? Okay, now you're ready. You got your paper ready, you got your pencil ready, and I've got my timer ready. You have 10 minutes to complete this activity. Ready, set, go. Go ahead and stop this video. Time yourself for 10 minutes, and let's see what you end up with. Okay. How did you do? I bet you had a great time playing that math game. I know you kind of feel stressed out a little bit trying to remember everything. And it's okay if you need to use my anchor charts that I have for 36 or 24 previous to help you. If that's just too much to do by yourself, then don't hesitate to use the different tools that I provide. So now you've played the game. So this is when you would count up how many correct math models that you created, and you would circle it on your rubric. So this is your part here. So you're going to count how many different models you came up with that you think are correct, and you would circle it here. And then have your friend check your work too to see if they agree that you did get as many as you thought. And if they give you a thumbs up or a happy face, then yeah, then that's the number that you would stay at. And I tell you right now, great job. Way to do such a great job on your math game. This is an example of what you could have done. So maybe the number is 26. You can see that they included that it's even. This is Roman numerals. The student wrote 26 in word form, expanded form, base 10 form. These were the different factors that equal 26, 1 times 26 or 13 times 2. So this student knew that it was a composite number. So this student did 2 groups of 13. That's the array. These were just some fact families with the number 26, different combinations there. Also, the student multiplied 26 by 4 to get that answer. And both of those are great. So that's an example of what one of my students was able to do. Hopefully yours looks very similar to that. After you have this data, you can see that I corrected her work, and so I knew how many right answers that the student had. And my student said last time they played the game, they got 2 out of 4 correct. And then this game, they felt like they got 3 out of 4 correct, 4 being the most advanced. 3 is always represented as mastery, so at grade level. So if you're at a 3, typically your teacher would say you're at mastery. If you're at a 4, it means you're above mastery. So as you can see, my student felt like she was at a 3 as she looked at her work that she was able to get done in 10 minutes. And I checked things, and sure enough, she had 12 accurate models depicting her number 26. So she did get a 3. So well done there. So I hope that you enjoyed playing the math game. You can see it's not that hard. And if you want to create a rubric like I did, you can also do that too if that helps you to challenge yourself and you know what mastery is. You can do that. You're welcome to look at my examples. Even without a timer, if you feel stressed out, maybe the best thing to do the first time is to just practice writing down a number, looking at one of my anchor charts, and then duplicating some of the things you see that I did with my number for your number too. And that would be a great way if you feel like this is just, it's not working out for you right now. I know sometimes I have students complain that when they have the timer going, it gives them, kind of like a test anxiety situation. I don't want you to experience that. So if you need to practice without a timer, go ahead and try that and then see if you could work towards some kind of a time factor. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed playing the math game as much as I did. I know you're amazing at it. And until next time, boys and girls, remember, you're awesome at math and math rules. Bye-bye.